Thanks for watching this short video about Embark Week and EOTC before we go on our EOTC week this year, and it should help us to learn a few things and keep us safe. I thought I'd just start with a quick why, because it's been 2 and 3 years since all of us have been able to get outside on a regular basis, and it's a really important part of our school curriculum, the whole week that we have, and it's just really important for our kids. So I just wanted to start off with a little bit of a why, because it's really important that the kids have this opportunity, and they really appreciate, the parents really appreciate your participation, because it really is a great opportunity for them to make school a little bit special. Just like the swimming carnival, the swimming gala yesterday, this is a really cross-school activity, and we don't have too many of these things. We've got over nearly 600 students going in total that have all paid their checks already, so we've had a really good positive response from the students. We've got 4 year groups going out. We've got an alternative trip for some of the unvaccinated people, and so I'm sorry that the information has been a little bit slow coming out to you, but we have been negotiating with some local providers, and we're trying to support some local providers and do this a little bit differently this year, try to keep the price as cheap as we can. And so our negotiations with them and their timelines are a little bit different, and so the information we haven't been able to get it out to you as quickly as we would have liked, so my apologies for that. Now, this video is going to focus on safety, and I'll make a separate video later on about buses, because as you can understand, with 600 and nearly 600 kids getting on the buses all at the same time next week, it's going to be a challenge. So I would like to just go through some of the processes that we do here at RCHK to try to avoid likely problems, and we'll go through the risk assessment. We'll look at just reminding you as teachers how to do that. We'll set up how to collect the first aid kits, the procedure for registration at the start of the day, and I'm also going to ask people to register their students as they get off the bus, and to submit that back again so that we know everyone's got back safely. We'll go through the risk assessment, as I said, and expectations for the students on camp, and particularly for the Year 8 people going on Year 8, the Year 8 camp week. We've got a PowerPoint for you there that you can click on. These slides are also in the email, and you can read more there. Okay, so we're currently breaking up all the students into groups, and they'll be labelled A7.1, A7.2, right down to B 7.5, etc. And those lists will make the basis of registration details, and will associate medical data, etc. with them. So you can expect when you arrive at school in the morning to be given a pack of information, and in fact we'll give that to you at the start of the week, and you can take that with you on most days. So you can see our bus arrangements here. We're still working on those, and I'll make that separate video so that we can get this bus departure thing happening. But I just would like to ask you to be patient with the buses, because there will be a real logjam there with a lot of buses and a lot of kids, and we will have to just really focus on being a little bit safe there, and keep our eyes open, because we'll have a lot of people moving around and a lot of buses moving, so it's a time that we do need to focus on a little bit of safety. So later on next week, actually, I'll probably try to come around, and once we've allocated teachers, we're still waiting on associating teachers' names with groups, so we'll get that to you as soon as we can. But I'll bring around what we call a trip safety information pack later on next week, and that will be in a zipper bag, and it will have some things in it. So the main things it will have is a manifest. It'll probably be a full year level manifest of all of the emergency contact details in alphabetical order for the year level of the camp that you are on. It will be alphabetical, as I said. It's going to have the emergency contacts of the parents. It'll have any allergies and past medications, current medications, things on them. If there's students with medications, they should be bringing them and submitting them to you, although this is a day trip type of situation now, so we don't really need to collect medicine from people. They should be able to take it before they arrive. There might be kids carrying asthma puffers. Just check through those lists for the kids. We'll sort those lists up so that you just have the ones that you can look up, and just check, if there's anyone with asthma in the group or allergies, just have a quick word to them before you get on the bus or on the bus trip, and just confirm with them how dangerous that exactly is, so that you can know what's happening. There'll also be some insurance emergency contact details there. You don't really need to worry about that, but in case a bus doesn't turn up, we'll try and get a bus number in there so that you've got someone to call. If we could just ask you to make sure, as I said, that you just have a quick look through that manifest and check the kids that are in your group. That'll make things a little bit easier if something does go wrong. And I'd really like to just remind you that it's fine for you to be a little bit assertive when you're in an activity or when you're on your way. Don't be afraid to stop something if you think it's not safe, because these are the moments that we have that sometimes we miss, where we can stop an injury. And so we need to be careful with just watching out for that, and or questioning and understanding something before you feel it's safe, and then we can let it go, or give me a call and we'll work it out. In regards to the students, we've really pushed with them that it's a challenge by choice is our first option, so we want to encourage them, but we're not going to place any stress on anyone and drive them to tears if they don't want to participate. That's okay. We just encourage them, and hopefully they'll do it, because there will be some high ropes and some things that will scare some students. So phones on trips this time, we'll be a little bit more relaxed with that, because we need the phones. In some instances they need to scan in. I would just encourage you to discourage them from having their earphones on the bus trips. Bus trips are a great chance for students to just really sit down and relax and chat with each other and mess around a little bit. This is what being a kid means. And if they're just plugged into their earphones, they tend not to do this. So if you can just try to encourage them to be chatting with each other along the way and put the phone away, that would be appreciated. Thanks. And we really don't want them calling their parents and then saying to you, I need to, I've called my mum, she's going to bring this for me, and things like that, because we need them to be asking you and learning to solve problems themselves rather than asking for parents to come and help them. So I'll just spend a minute now to go through the risk assessment form, just so you can have a look at that. So there'll be a risk assessment form for each year level, and this is a standard RCHK ESF form. So it just thinks about, it's a method for us to think about risk and for what might be coming up and what might be a problem and how we can solve it. So we're just thinking about different things, whether the kids might be slipping and falling while getting off the bus, and if there's a crossing, etc. So these will be finished and put in the information packs. You can have a perusal of them if you like while you're out. Just be watching for the students while they're on terrain, supervising them. If you're on one of the hikes, we need to be just a little bit vigilant that there's someone at the front and someone at the back, and we're very careful to number off students if there's any turn-off. Turn-offs and side tracks can be real danger situations, so just make sure we're following some good procedures there and keeping track of everyone, because it is very easy for a student to not be in visual contact with someone in front and then take a wrong turn, and then we lose them, and they're the instances where things do go wrong. So just maintain a regular head count and a judgment of the area, and we'll be all right. Now, in all instances, all of our all of our day trips will be supported by local staff, and they'll be looking after the groups. Your job will just be to follow along and look after the well-being of the students and encourage everyone to participate, etc. So probably the buses actually are going to be our most dangerous time, getting on and off the buses, etc. There might be a little bit of bus sickness because of winding roads and things like that, and we might also have some minor injuries in terms of cuts and abrasions and scratches, etc. Or when we're kayaking, there's going to be some canoeing and kayaking, water sports in some instances. We need to be extra vigilant, please, when we're around the water, because that's the time that's very, very dangerous, particularly with some of our students in Hong Kong. So just be really careful there. There'll be a first aid kit with each bus and with each larger group, so we've got access to that. And then at the bottom of the form, you'll see the contacts. You've got my phone number there and Jeff's phone number. He will be the contact person for emergencies. If there's a really serious emergency, you need to call the emergency services first and look after the safety of the student. Then you contact us, and then we go through the process there. You don't need to necessarily know the insurance details here. We'll sort that out later. At the bottom of the risk assessment form, I will paste here the major alerts from the year group, and so there'll be a summary there of those, which is another quick way of getting to alerts. That summary will look like this, with the student's name and everything that you need to know there. Okay, just wanted you to know the emergency numbers. There they are. They will be in the trip information pack on this document, but also in the pack, so you can find that there. Okay, so there'll be a first aid kit on each bus, and local staff will also have medical equipment. Later next week, I might allocate you when we've got the staff sorted out. So please, I'll ask you to grab the bag from the school nurse. I've arranged with them down there to get them ready. So we'll try to get them picked up next Thursday, please. Just a quick rundown on the timings for the week. You can see the 7s will leave at about 8:50, coming back at 4. The year 8s will be going to a further destination, so one group will leave earlier. The majority will leave at 9:10, back at 3 o'clock. The year 9s will leave at 9 o'clock and come back at 3:30. And the year 10s will leave at 8:35 and be back at 4. So we've tried to make this, we've tried to negotiate here with a very complex set of bus requirements. And as you know, in Hong Kong, buses rule. So we have to be we had to go through quite a process here to be able to try and get everyone back at a reasonable time. So the students will then be dismissed from school and can go home. Some days, some students may arrive back earlier. That's just the bonus. And then they will catch the school bus home. But we're not mentioning which day that will happen at this point, because the parents will have given permission for the students to make their way home on all days. Okay, the year 8 group's a little bit more complex. There'll be 30 students going to Yau Tong each day. They will go to an air gun shooting activity, and they will need to collect their lunch from Chartwells in the morning. They've already filled out a meal preference form, and they'll collect their lunch on their way out. They should go between 8 and 8:30 to collect their lunch. There'll be a Mongkok group. They'll go to Mongkok and do some climbing wall, etc. But they will come back to school early at 2 p.m. and so they will actually eat their lunch at school. And so on that day, they will get to go home on the school buses. And then the Tung Chung group will be 3 lots of 30 kids, so there'll be 90 kids out there, the rest of the students, and they'll all receive their lunch at the venue. So you'll be notified of which groups are which next week when we start matching up teachers with groups, etc. And then you'll know where you're going. Just to finish off with some expectations for teachers and students. Just want, I'm sure everyone's going to join in with a positive spirit. Actively supervise the bus and in their venues. We just want you to chat and enjoy and encourage being with the kids outside, and to make sure that you've got access to your lists and know what's going on and be watching for safety, etc. And then just, give the kids some positive encouragement. So I'm sure everyone will really, relish that chance to be with the students in a different environment and see them like this. In terms of students, we've told them that we really want them to be, getting involved, be on time, be open-minded about things, to have a go, to respect nature, not to be, pulling bark off trees and ripping leaves off and doing things like that as we go around, but they can respect nature. We want them to be polite to the guides and to the local providers as well, and facilitators, so just watch out for that and encourage people to say thank you, etc. And we really want them to be learning new things and learning to respect their peers in new ways when they see that someone who may not be so great at design is suddenly really good at kayaking, and so we respect them as a person. Okay, next week you're going to get you'll get those group lists as I showed you earlier. There'll be multiple copies of those in the packs, and then so you'll be able to register. We'll put a pen in the pack as well. You'll be able to take the register and then either take a picture of that and email that to Van, or send the hard copy up to Van before you go. And then at the end of the day, you can take the register with a second sheet and you can send that back to the office as well. We do need to just make sure we've got a good track of registration. We've got a lot of kids moving around, going out. It's very easy to lose someone. So if I could just ask you to be vigilant with that at the start and the end of the day, that would be appreciated. Okay, sorry for the long video. There is a lot more information in the Back to School Night presentation, also on the school website, and the summary PDF, which includes the daily program. All of this will be in the information pack. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the week, and we'll send more information about buses later. And there's a brief summary of each year group's activities underneath here. Okay, thank you.